Hey guys, welcome to the Reds Projects. Today we're at Heathcote. Got the ute. See, it's a nice freaking hot day, and we're going to be racing today. So a little bit last minute, but if you look to the front, you see a familiar face. So today should be fun. My GoPro's already dead, so I won't get much footage, but I'll try and get someone to film me. But testing out the ute. Should be a fun day. Hey guys, short hair red here. I did a pretty poor job of filming at Heathcote, so I'm going to pop in and just explain things, run through a few videos, and just help this video flow a bit better. So this private test and tune fun day that I got invited to, that was because of Michael. He's the gentleman that bought my XR6 off me, and it was his work. They were having their work break up at Heathcote, which is awesome. So the company he works for is GLE Civil and Pipe, so big thanks for them for letting me come along and crash their party, and it was a fun day for everyone. Alright, we're in race trim. Just got to get the tyre pressures good, and I'll go up for my first pass, and fingers crossed it goes good. Alright, so very happy with the first pass. It's the first pass the car's ever made down a drag strip, so I just wanted it to go A to B, be smooth, clean, go straight, all those good things. So I had the two-step set at 3,500. I was aiming for 1 or 2 pounds of boost, and I left on bang on 2.0 pounds, and it hooked up great, 60-footed pretty good. It felt amazing. It went straight. It did everything I wanted to do. I shifted it 66, 6,800, something like that, and it was spot on. It stopped at the end, which was great as well, but a very clean first pass. I was very happy when I came around, grabbed my time slip, and it was 11.0. That's awesome that this thing does that first pass on the power it's making, so I'm very happy with that. Would have been better if it was a 10.99, but 11.0 is still awesome, and it gives me a lot of hope for going quicker for the rest of the day. Straight after that pass, Michael asks me to make a pass in the XR6. He was having some dramas launching it. I gave him instructions on how I launched it, but he was having some problems, so he asked me to jump in.
Right lane 1-4.
Alright, so that was a pretty poor pass from the XR6. While I was sitting there building boost, I could tell that it sounded like I was making more boost than the gauge was showing, so I think I briefly let off and then got back on and then let the brakes off, and it didn't leave with much boost, so we got a poor 60 foot and a poor pass. And I think it even spun through the pass, which we do a lot more spinning through the day, which we'll get to soon. Later on, we found out that the boost gauge is not reading correctly. It seems to read normal on the vacuum side of the gauge, but on the pressure side, it's not the correct numbers, so it's hard to launch it. I'd normally launch it at 10 or 15 pounds, and if it's not reading properly, you're just guessing. Kind of disappointed that the car didn't perform as good as it did on the day. I would have been a lot happier if Michael had around a 10 in it on the first day. So I'm gonna make sure that next time it goes out, it gets into the 10s pretty easily for him. After this, we filmed a couple other cars. There was a bunch of Hondas there on the day. I think there was an Evo, a Skyline, Mustang. There was a bunch of bikes as well. So I got a few videos of that, which I'll show you all. So you can see it's a very fun, chilled day. Everyone's having fun, and there's a lot of passes being made, and everyone's not taking it that seriously, which is awesome. It's just nice, chilled fun. So I'm getting ready for my second pass. I'm very confident. I'm on a high because I just ran an 11.0. This thing will go 10s real easy. So I set the two-step to 4,000, which was probably a bit too aggressive, but this thing, with the two-step at 35, it doesn't make boost that quick. At 4,000, it makes boost pretty quickly. I can get the gate to open pretty easy and make 6 pounds within a couple seconds. So my theory is I will have a high two-step and then still launch on a relatively low boost. So I set two-step to 4,000, and I was aiming to leave on about 4 pounds, which should be a nice bump up. Should get 60 foot quicker and should get the car into the 10s. So second pass didn't go to plan, as you could see. It pretty much spun straight away. I was probably a bit aggressive going up to 4,000 on the two-step, and I ended up leaving on about 4.5 pounds of boost. Part of that is because the track was not prepped the same way it would be if it was a test and tune or a event. The boys there knew that a bunch of slower cars on street tires would be making passes, so they did spray the track, but they did tell us that after our fun day, our private day, they would be scraping all the rubber off and laying down a fresh coat of rubber and prepping it because it was a test and tune on the weekend. So it was a little bit slippery, but I'm not going to completely blame the track. Should be able to get down any track regardless. But yeah, I just had a little bit too aggressive of a launch for the track surface. So after that, we changed it up and started doing some roll racing. I did not get any footage of this. It was hard. I was by myself. It was hard to get other people to film for me. But I made 2 passes and I was spinning a lot on both passes. Excuse me. It was pretty surprising how slippery a drag strip can be if you have cold drag radials. So first pass, I spun a bit in first. Shifted to top gear, it spun a bit in top gear, and I got a bit out of shape, but went through, and you know, the times for roll racing don't really matter. So that was that. I made another come and made another pass. I purposely short shifted the top gear before the lights went green, just to try and stop the spin in first gear, and it still spun a lot in top gear and got fairly out of shape, and still made a full pass, but was a little bit sketchy for my liking. So that was when I decided that roll racing is probably not for me, not for this car anyway. So I parked it up and waited for my third pass. Now, my third pass, I tried to split the difference between the first and second. So I set the two-step to 3,800, and I was aiming to leave at about 3,000. Unfortunately, I did not get a video of this pass either, but it pretty much did the same thing as the second pass. Probably not as bad because it went quicker. It spun a little bit off the line. I'm not sure if I pedaled it or if I stayed in it and it came good, but it did spin a bit, and it had a poor 60 foot, and it did do a low 11, but it wasn't nothing compared to the first pass. All right, that brings us to the fourth and final pass. I set the car up to have the 3.5 two-step because that worked on the first pass. My plan is just to sit on the two-step longer and just leave on 3 pounds of boost or something. I have a good long discussion with the gentleman on the lights. Sorry, I forgot your name. I'm terrible with names, but he gives me a lot of good advice. He said to just do a nice big long burnout, reverse back, and he's going to line me up in the sticky part of the track. And we get everything set up and make the fourth pass.
Lovely. 1.7.
So, the fourth pass. The car did hook. It didn't feel as strong as the first pass. I did leave on, I sat there until I seen 3 pounds on the dash. It didn't feel as strong as the first pass for some reason, but it hooked. I made it probably just before the 8th mile, and I was starting to drift left, and I was getting out of the groove, and the car was starting to get, it might not look it in the video, but the car was starting to sway a bit and starting to walk around a bit. So I've had plenty of passes down the track that day. I figure it's not worth staying in it. This pass is probably not going to be a 10 anyway, so I just get out of it, and you can see from the time slip, you can see my 8th mile is down, so I backed off before the 8th mile and just rolled through for a 12 something. So a little bit of a downer to finish the day like that. It would have been good to finish on a high and like I said, get that 10.99 pass, but it is what it is. After that, I just pack up and we cruise home. Got a couple videos of that. Alright, so that brings us to now. I've had plenty of time to reflect and think about everything. I've had time to look at footage and data logs. I've had time to get a haircut, and I'm pretty confident that this will run a high 10-second pass the way it sits. I just need to go there on a cooler day when the track prep is a little bit better, I've got a little more traction, and I'll be able to launch this thing a little bit quicker, launch it a little bit more aggressive and go a little bit quicker. And that should be enough to just get into the 10s. Even if it's a 10.99, that's my short-term goal for this car. So at some point over the next month or so, me and Michael will probably go back to the drags. Heathcote are doing a test and tune, or doing test and tunes that go from like 1 or 2 o'clock to 8 or 9 o'clock, like afternoon to night type test and tune. I really want to do one of those because we know turbo cars love cooler air, and once the sun goes down, the drag strips generally get better. So it'd be good for me and Michael to go and do one of those test and tunes. Sorry, burping a lot. And have both cars run into the 10s. That would be really, really good. So that's the plan for short term. And then really, I'll be just planning some more upgrades for this. Want to put an intercooler on it, put another fuel pump on, put it on EP45, and crank out some real horsepower out of this thing. So that's all going to come next year. In the meantime, have a good Christmas, have a good New Year, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.